At Stuart High School, the 5 goals of the Sacred Heart are deeply rooted into the curriculum. The goals are as follows: a personal and active faith in God, a deep respect for intellectual values, a social awareness that impels to action, the building of a community as a Christian value, and personal growth in an atmosphere of wise freedom. Every Wednesday, I volunteer at the Sequoia's Home for Senior Residents. During my visits, my activities vary from simply talking to the residents or playing the piano for them. Out of all my experiences at this particular location, the one I am about to describe most profoundly reflects the goals of the Sacred Heart. A few months back, I was asked to do something that I was not prepared for. I was asked to accompany a resident during his lunch. Simply talk to him. Relate to him. Although things began awkwardly, 10 minutes into our conversation, he revealed that he was a musician, a scholar, and had once a leadership position at a very successful company. This broke the ice, as I told him I was also a musician and an aspiring entrepreneur. The fact that we were both musicians was our first point of relation. Our deep respect for music directly reflected our deep respect for intellectual values. I had always known being a musician took a vast amount of brain power, but this man steadfastly reiterated this opinion. For the next 45 minutes, we talked about the brain power it takes to memorize songs, coordinate one's fingers, and understand melodies. This man is one of the only other human beings I've ever talked to who understands the connection between notes and emotions the way I do. This music connection we established directly relates to John Rawls' theory of distributive justice. John Rawls argues that the distributive justice is not about rewarding virtue or moral desert. Instead, it's about meeting the legitimate expectations that arise once the rules of the game are in place. Once the principles of justice set the terms of social cooperation, people are entitled to the benefits they earn under the rules. This is an example of justice in initial holdings as opposed to justice in transfer. This interaction I had also relates to Rachel Naomi's In the Service of Life. My connection with this man was established upon my serving him. We know from Rachel Naomi that service never implies something needs to be fixed, or that one person is more capable than another. Service is done because it benefits both parties equally. And now a quote from Rachel Naomi. Service rests on the basic premise that the nature of life is sacred, and that life is a holy mystery which has an unknown purpose. When we serve, we know that we belong to life and to that purpose. Fundamentally, helping, fixing, and service are ways of seeing life. Page 25. Both the elderly man and myself were greatly benefited during this lunchtime. A deep respect for intellectual values and service go hand in hand. This is a prime example of why. This ties into Goal 2 of the Sacred Heart tradition. Only a person with intellectual values would be willing to question another man about his or her intellectual values, as I did with this man. And now a quote from Nozick. He argues that distributive justice depends upon 2 requirements: justice in initial holdings and justice in transfer. The first asks if the resources you used to make your money were legitimately yours in the first place. If you made a fortune selling stolen goods, you would not be entitled to the proceeds. It is important to remember that Goal 2 of the Sacred Heart tradition embodies a lifestyle that will progressively bring one many rewards. My interaction with the old man at the Sequoias is a prime example of how intellectual values coincide with justice in initial holdings. Just as I learned knowledge from him, anyone can apply these skills to better themselves and others throughout the world. Thank you.